email address at FORTUNECO still?
Fortuneco.com. Correct. It is.
Okay. I just got a reply that said something like it was July and you were out of the office. It was very,
Really?
yeah, it was very unusual. So it made me think, just a second. We're not quite started yet. So
Was it today or?
it was last week when I sent out the request for agenda items. So let's see if I can. Sometimes I can't pull up my personal email. I'm at work. Anyhow, if that's it, then that's good. Because you obviously got this. So
I
this
did.
is your
Yes.
correct
Thank you.
one. Okay.
Yeah, the packet. Thank you.
Okay. Good deal.
Lindsay, I
Out of
think
the office and away from email access is what it said.
Oh, okay.
But
That's weird.
yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Oh, Weston.
Weston,
Oh,
look at that face.
so cute.
He is adorable.
Aw.
He just woke up, so he's a little grumpy.
Aw.
Future mayor of Lake Stevens right there.
Actually,
Years.
I was thinking he would be a really good Winnie the Pooh for Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Aw,
Has to start somewhere.
He's got the little tummy for it too.
He
So.
sure
so
does.
cute.
So,
The only person I heard from was Helen that wouldn't be here. So if we can wait a couple minutes, then maybe we'll have a couple more people.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hang tight because we're live streaming this and I don't want anything to disconnect. So I'll hang on through the meeting. No worries.
So will this be available, the recorded thing? Will it be available, what, on the YouTube site, on the city's YouTube?
Yeah. So we're live streaming it right now if anybody were to be watching, and then it will be saved on there for anybody to watch later. Yeah, we're doing that with all of our boards and commissions now, so that they're more accessible. I think Leanne.
I'm glad I'm shaved today, huh?
I think Leanne might be trying to get on. So
I just got a call from Texas and my friend wanted to know how we were doing here in the big storm. Said, what big storm? What did she call it? Some kind of a bomb.
oh, I heard one's coming, but I don't know when. All right, I'm trying to bring Andy in.
And did you say Leanne is here too?
Well, I thought so. She just accepted my Outlook, and then she said she'd be here, so I just figured she was grabbing the link, but I haven't seen her yet.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order since we have most of our board members here, or everyone that was going to be here today. That's terrific. Welcome to the library board meeting. Nice to see everybody. We'll just go around and how about if I just call out names, and since we're all on different spots on the screen, but I am Shaylin Charvet-Bates. I'm the chairperson for the library. Abe?
Okay, and I am Abe Martinez, and I am the secretary for the library board.
Emily?
I'm Emily Steinbrook. I am a board member for the library board.
And Melissa.
I am Melissa Maffio and I am a board member.
Lynn. You're muted, Lynn.
That doesn't happen very often. My name's Lynn Myers and I am a library board member.
Andy.
My name's Andy Powers and I'm a library board member.
And Candace.
Candace Barlow, I'm a library board member.
And then we also have Chai.
Good evening, Chai Ross. I'm the Assistant Director of Capital Strategy and Planning with Snow Isle Libraries.
And Lindsay.
I'm Lindsay Hanson. I'm the East District Library Manager or East District Manager. I always throw library in there.
Brett.
Brett Gailey. They currently allow me to be the mayor. We'll see how much longer that stays around. I can only be here for a few minutes, but I wanted to check in and just see what was going on.
Thank you. Mary.
Mary Dickinson. I'm on city council and we need the mayor to stay on here. Come on. And
Russ.
really looking forward to listening tonight.
Hi, Russ Wright. I'm the Community Development Director for the City of Lake Stevens.
And Kelly.
Hello, Kelly Chellin, the city clerk for the city of Lake Stevens.
And Melissa, I see you popped on. We are just introducing. Go ahead, Melissa.
Hi,
Okay.
Melissa, friends of the library.
And I believe we have one community member. Is that correct today, Kelly?
Yeah, James Harmon, looks like he's joining us in listening mode only, so.
Terrific. Welcome, James. Okay, terrific. Let's take a look quickly at the minutes and if anybody has anything to add or comments to make. I will add that Helen Taylor let me know that she is traveling, so she's out of town for tonight's meeting. I do have something to report for her, so I'll take care of that later, but she isn't excused for tonight. All right, any comments on the minutes? We'll just need approval, motion.
I will motion to accept the minutes as written.
Thank you, Emily. I should probably not do the second since I wrote them, so somebody else should need to do the second.
I will second them.
Thank you, Melissa.
Looks like all in favor. We're good.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Terrific. We do have a new board member. We interviewed and are happy to say that Leanne Balbarona accepted, but she's not quite here yet. Some of you might recognize Leanne from having served on the board quite a few years ago. I can't remember exactly how many, and if she was here, she could let us know. But if she pops on soon, Kelly will take care of the other pieces for that. Okay, terrific. Okay. All right, it is our annual time. It's our annual meeting where we have the nominations for elections of officers. Abe and I both have served in the capacity of, I've served for chairperson, Abe has served for secretary for quite some time. And if there is anybody who would like to serve in those positions, either of those positions, please feel free to speak up at this time. If someone would like to nominate somebody for those positions, please feel free to do that. We have a little bit of time until the January meeting, so we could revisit this if we needed to. But certainly if there's somebody who would like to be in either of those positions that are on the board right now, or anybody has any questions, now's the time that we can talk about that.
And I think it may be worthwhile to mention the nature of consecutive, whether it's available, whether, I mean, we've continued to to extend our time on the board or as officers, Shaylin,
Yes,
you and
yes.
I. But I did want to point out that I think there's a provision about, generally speaking, consecutive natures, consecutive terms on that. So I don't recall what. I haven't looked at our minute at the.
Yeah, well, we have definitely exceeded our time in this, but we have, the city has allowed us to suspend that rule because we haven't had anybody else that's been willing to step up or wanted to step up and do it. So we've suspended that provision of the bylaws. And so we've continued. I think that's how we've gotten around. I don't want to say gotten around because that sounds like we're maybe trying to, you know what I'm trying to say. That's how we continue to serve in this position without anybody else having to do it. So, so there's that. I think is how we've taken care of that, Abe.
Yeah.
That sound right?
That sounds, yeah, exactly right. And the city has given their okay with that, and everything has been okay. So that being the case, I would happily, I think based upon the bylaws and based upon my own feelings of it, I would very willingly give up the position of secretary to somebody else. I would also be willing to step up to chair, but I would rather somebody else nominated if that were going to happen. Because if there's somebody who's looking forward to that position, well, then by all means, let's spread the love, right? But there we go. So I will leave it to others.
I nominate Abe as chair of the board.
Okay, so Andy has nominated me. All right. I don't know what the next steps are.
I think you need a second, don't you?
I believe so.
I will second that for Abe, for board chair. Oh, wait, I have to call for the motion, so I better not second it. Somebody else can.
I can second for Abe as chair.
All right. All in favor? I think that looks good. So we do need somebody then that's willing to step up and be secretary, since Abe will be relinquishing that role to be the chairperson.
I might mention, Shaylin, that you actually could be the secretary, but I'll not nominate you if you're not looking forward to it. Okay.
No,
well,
thank you.
that being the case, I think somebody should probably speak up about it, whether you're willing to do it. And it's really not that difficult in my experience. It's really just involves getting the minutes done and coordinating with Kelly to get them finished. Beyond that, there are no other absolute requirements. Obviously, you're on this board, you care about the library. So we would think that you might want to be more involved and, talk with city and Snow Isle and whoever it needs to be, but you aren't required to. Your only requirement is really just keeping the minutes, getting them on time to Kelly, making sure that she has distributed them. And that's about it. So anyway, that being said, if there's somebody else on the board, I would love it if I don't want to nominate anybody because I don't know what your skill set is or your times are, but by all means.
The meetings are being recorded and you have access to the recording, right? So when you're writing up the minutes, you have access.
Yes.
That's good. You don't have to remember everything. But I can't do it since I may not be around for many more years. I have put my name in at Warm Beach in Stanwood, so I'll be joining the Stanwood Friends someday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How about you, Melissa? board member, Melissa?
I would do it, but I just would want to know more about what's involved and the time commitment.
I will say that the time commitment, depending upon how detailed you want to be, and I tend to be much more detailed than is required. Nobody needs to make a 4-page, notes. You can keep it pretty simple. But yeah, just the minutes, it takes me a couple hours after the meeting. And I honestly, Kelly has never leaned into me to get them, right away, but I go ahead and do it within days, within 2 days. And that's really what amounts to it. And while it's fresh on my mind, since I have access to a recording, that's the best way to do it. So I would, whether we remain online or whether we go live, this might be something that we have to clear. But since we're already recording on Zoom, it makes sense to me that we could do an audio recording of it for the purpose of getting accurate notes. I don't see how that would be any less legal or whatever. So that being the case, you would have access to that recording, and that recording would be the basis of your of making notes. And again, I have been told from people who do this for other boards that I can be a lot more general in so-and-so made this kind of comment, and that's all they need to know. So pretty simple. Am I selling you, Melissa?
Is it something I could think about, or do you need an answer right now? Or
I don't know. Shaylin, what do you think?
Well, I will continue for the chair for this meeting, and so Abe would take over as chair at the next meeting, and we would need a secretary at that time.
Okay, could I let you know
in
before
order
then?
for Abe? Well, otherwise Abe would continue as secretary, and I guess I would continue as chair, and we would reopen this. No, that doesn't make sense. I don't know who would do the secretary duty. I don't know if anyone has an answer to that.
I don't know what the answer would be either. Unless you want to, could you take that on as a provisional spot, Shaylin, in January, or no? Sorry.
No, I'm not going to say that, because I feel like that would would roll into permanent more likely than not.
Okay.
I say something. It's not my meeting, and so I don't want to speak out of turn. But Melissa, I'd be more than happy to spend some time with you, since I take a lot of minutes for city council and for boards and commissions. It really isn't too difficult once you've got a template, which Abe's got a great template. You're really going to be plugging in names and motions, and maybe a little bit of a discussion. I'm happy to spend some time with you if you'd like to do that. And as Abe said, he does great minutes, but they don't have to be verbatim. They can be, just a summary of what was said, and if any action took place.
Oh, that's so nice of you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
I'm happy to help.
Okay, so I would be doing it, if I accepted that, I would be doing it starting January?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I will take that on.
Okay, Melissa, yeah, let's chat, and I'd be happy to go over it with you.
Melissa, do you want us to vote on that now, or do you want to, or do you still want, do you want to sit?
Well, if Kelly will help me, and if it's not something I need to do at this moment and in January, I'm happy to take it on.
I nominate Melissa as secretary.
And I can second. So there we go. Andy
Okay.
and Abe. All right.
Yeah, I won't leave you hanging, Melissa. I'll be on the next meeting too, so I can even help take minutes, and we can do it together the first time.
Oh, that's so nice of you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, great, we did that. Let's circle back, because I see Leanne's here. Hi, Leanne. Leanne, or Kelly, what you want to do the oath of office, and then we can have Leanne introduce herself, or vice versa. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, Leanne, do you want to introduce yourself, and I'll pull up the oath?
Yeah.
Yep, no problem. Sorry about being late. I was having a little connection issue there. My name's Leanne Balberona, excuse me, and I am new to the board. I did serve for a few months back in, I think, 2019 or sometime around there, 2018, finishing out someone else's term. But I am happy to begin with this sort of new library, new board, new location, all kinds of new energies. So I'm happy to get going there.
Welcome, Leanne. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being on the board. Okay.
Thanks, Leanne. Yeah, so we're going to do this virtual, which is a little different than if we were in person, but I'm going to have you raise your right hand and repeat after me, and I'll try to go as slow as I can. I state your name.
I, Leanne Balberona.
Do solemnly swear or affirm.
Do solemnly swear
or affirm. That I will support the Constitution.
That I will support the Constitution.
And the laws of the United States.
And the laws of the United States.
And state of Washington.
And state of Washington.
And the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens.
And the ordinances of the city of Lake Stevens.
And that I will faithfully and impartially.
And that I will faithfully and impartially.
Perform and discharge.
Perform and discharge.
The duties of library board member.
The duties of library board member.
According to the law.
According to the law.
And to the best of my ability and understanding.
And to the best of my ability and understanding.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Leanne. Okay. Let's see. New business. Finishing up on that. Replacing signage on the main roads.
Sorry, can I interrupt real quick? Caitlin,
yes,
do we need to vote on the motions, the board member motions?
Did we not? Thank you.
We just made the motions. I don't know if we actually voted or not.
Oh, thank you. Which ones, Abe, do we need to go back to? Both of them?
Sorry, there we go. I think we voted on, for me already.
Right.
Emily, am I right? I think we voted on that, but I don't believe that we did vote with Melissa. I think we were a little confused as to whether we were moving forward, but we've already had Andy made the motion and I seconded, so I guess we do need to vote there. So.
Okay, all in favor for Melissa for secretary?
Aye.
Go. All right.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, replacing the signage on main roads. This one is for me. So I noticed a while back the new signs that it's been some time now, but the cumulative signs that kind of show all the several different locations in Lake Stevens that are kind of put at critical locations. But the library signs are no longer present on any of those main roads. And I was wondering what the plan was to replace those. There was a plan, since the library is in a temporary location for a while now, if we'll be replacing those signs.
So I can speak to that. So the city did install a bunch of new gateway signs pointing to primary locations. As those were just rolled out, they won't be replaced anytime soon, but the signs in the downtown area, the old signs that have pointed to the museum and library, those will be replaced in the next coming months as we get those ordered and reinstalled. So we have another wave of gateway signs that are forthcoming.
About in the same locations as they were previously, or are you adding to any of the other locations?
They would be in new locations. The current location, say down at 16th and Main, doesn't make sense anymore. So there would be directionals from Main Street and 20th pointing up towards Grade Road where the library's at. So they would be new locations.
Okay. Great, thank you. And then crosswalk from the sidewalk to the new facility. This one came to me actually from a person who works at the RSC. And it is in regards to kids I think that this person was asking about kids coming from North Lake. They were noticing that there is no crosswalk. If you walk down from North Lake and start to the library, there's no crosswalk from in front of the library there. And was wondering if there was a plan to do so. They thought that that would be a safety issue. It could be a potential safety hazard if there wasn't, because kids are just crossing naturally in front of the library there. So wondering about that.
I don't have a comment on that, but I will take that concern to our Public Works team and we can take a look at that.
Okay. Do you need anything else regarding that? I mean, that's pretty explanatory, I think, but I didn't know if you needed a follow-up.
I would appreciate it if the original individual sent us an email with the concern, or if you have some correspondence, that's helpful.
Okay. I'll certainly reach out to them and ask them to do that. Yeah.
Great.
It was also brought up at the Friends of the Library meeting, the last one we had, that it's a big concern for those people. So do you need a list of people? Because you're going to get a big one.
No, I don't need a list of people.
And Shaylin, real quick, you said RSC. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is.
You know what? That's the district office.
Okay.
I don't know if it's called the RSC. I might have that wrong. But
Okay.
it's the district office, which is pretty much right there on
Yeah, their administrative offices.
the administrative office. Yeah.
The
okay.
ESC.
ESC. Thank you.
ESC. Okay.
Educational Service Center.
Thank you.
Terrific. Okay. That was the only new business. All right, reports from, I believe, Lindsay, you're giving the snow aisle report today, or Lake Stevens report, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for
Perfect.
having me. And then I'll pass it over to Chai for the snow aisle report. So I am here today, very happy to be with you all. I missed you all in July, so happy to be here now. Elisa wasn't able to join us, so although I'll be attending these going forward as well in my new role, but I'm here in both roles right now. So I wanted to give you all an update about how things are going in the library, which is they're going really well. We got our new permanent shelves installed last week and reopened on the 12th. So this allowed us to vastly expand the collection, which was very exciting. Some of you may remember from our meeting earlier this year that we had ordered shelves, but they had been delayed due to the global shortages and issues due to the pandemic. So we were really excited to finally be able to install them. And Kelly, if I could share my screen, I'd love to show a picture.
Yes, I am here. Hold on real quick. All right, you should be good to
Bye,
go.
Mayor.
Bye, Mayor.
Oh, okay, I see the button. All right, so you should be seeing my screen now. And I wanted to share the photos of the new shelves. So you can see those here. We have shelves along the wall for the children's area and more shelves in the center of the library, the back wall in the back, and the other wall on the other side of the library. You can see we have some items on the shelves in these photos. This is while we were in action of putting things together. So that more books are on the shelves now. And I'll share again momentarily another photo that I have. So in addition to the new shelves, staff are really enjoying the space. There's lots of good space for them to collaborate and work. The staff bathroom is very popular, so they're just absolutely thrilled. We've also gotten a lot of really good feedback from customers. They're really enjoying the new space. We finally have a study room, which many of you know has been strongly desired in Lake Stevens for a long time. We also have a meeting room, which is very exciting. So when we are able to open our meeting rooms for reservation to the public, those will be available to reserve for free to anyone with library cards. So very excited to be offering those services to the community. While we are unable to have the reservations right now, people can still come in and sit in the meeting room. So you just can't reserve it for a group, but it is available for customers to sit and spread out, their work or anything they want to do in there. Additionally, along the same lines, we are not yet offering in-person programming. We are all eagerly looking forward to that future, but it's not here yet. So we, of course, are working with our local health districts to, monitor the situation, and, we'll move forward when it's advisable to do so. So meanwhile, our online programs continue to be very popular. Has anybody attended one of our online programs? Oh, yay, Chai. They're fantastic. One of the silver linings of the pandemic has definitely been that we have learned what a success online programming can be. I got to attend a horror book club that I hadn't been able to get to before, which was a lot of fun. So in addition to having attendees from Snohomish and Island County, we also have attendees from people all over the world who used to live here or heard about our fantastic Korean story time and want to attend. We also have Russian language story times. So we're offering a lot of really great innovative programs. One of the most exciting things that we're doing is offering our Talk Time program online, which is for people learning to speak English. And they can just come and chat and learn, practice conversationally talking with each other. And that's been going really well in an online format. So there's lots more. You can see everything on the event section of our website. And I'm happy to talk more about any of them as well. Moving forward, I just want to share a couple other tidbits. Summer reading went well this summer, even though we were in the new location. We had 203 kids sign up, and we had I didn't add these up ahead of time. 126 kids complete and pick up a prize book. So we're really grateful to our friends of the library who supported those prize books for the community. So that's always great, having the kids come in and pick things up after reading all summer. We have really appreciated the city's support in providing us a location to provide library service over the summer. That was a really great experience in a lot of different ways, so we're very grateful for that. We had a lot of feedback from the community that they found the location to be really convenient. And we met a lot of new customers some of whom weren't even aware that there was a library in Lake Stevens. So we signed up more cards this past summer than we have in any summer of recent memory. So very exciting. I overheard one day a mom coming and exclaiming to a staff member that, she went to the library all the time when she was a kid, but had never been in, decades. And now she has her own children, and she stumbled upon the pop-up location at the park, and it reminded her of all of these good memories, and was very excited to be able to check out books and get a card and everything. So a lot of beautiful moments at the park this summer, and staff were very excited to get into a bigger space. But overall, that was a good experience, and is a model that Snow Isle will learn from, and maybe there's possibility of doing more outreach like that in the future. So really, really great experience. We also have been doing a couple fun community things. We're participating in the coloring contest with the city's Harvest Fest. So we're one of the pickup locations for the coloring sheets, which is always fun. We also have recently completed a community art project. So we had did anybody do a tree? Shaylin, you get kudos. All the rest of you. No. Oh, good. Oh yeah, and Chai brought some home. My son did some too. So we had little cutout trees set out, and paint and brushes and all sorts of things for people to decorate their own trees. And our very, very talented staff member Yoko put them all together. And that's the other picture I have for you. So let me share my screen. I'm blown away by how this turned out. I just love it so much. So each one of these little trees was made by a community member, and we put them all together and put them up here. So that's right in the front of the library, and it's just a welcoming, collaborative, piece that hopefully helps everyone feel some ownership and welcoming sense when they come into the library. The last piece that I wanted to give you all an update about is that many of you, maybe all of you, are aware that our temporary assistant library manager, Elisa Erickson Jongrak, who is fantastic and wonderful, has decided to return to her previous role in Sultan. So we're very sorry to see her go. And her last day at Lake Stevens is on Monday. So if you'd like to say goodbye, you have a little bit of time left. And meanwhile, we are working to hire a new library manager. So I'm pretty excited about the candidates. We haven't made a final selection yet, but hoping to find somebody good for all of you and for the community. So I'm very optimistic. We had a really great pool. And that is everything I had for my report. So unless there are any questions, I'd love to turn it over to Chai. All right. Oh, Lynn?
How would one propose a program?
Oh, an online program?
Either, when we can, yeah.
Yeah, so if you'd like to talk about it now, we could hear about it, or you could mention it to any staff member in the library or over the phone. We take recommendations for programs pretty often, so happy to hear any recommendations.
Being a recent widow, it would help if there were a resource, an advocate. The hospital has no advocates anymore, to help not only widows, but widowers get through the mess of paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the paperwork that's the problem. It just keeps drowning you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's a good idea. And yeah, so sorry for your loss, Lynn. I know we've had resources about grief support and things like that, and we've done end of life planning programs, but I think that's a really great idea. So I'll bring that back to our team. I think that's really fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. Any other questions or suggestions? All right, Chai, over to you.
Great, thank you, Lindsay. Exciting to see those shelves in the library and a larger collection there. That's really great. And I'm just here tonight to share a brief update on the Civic Center campus process and the status with that project. As this group knows, over the last year, we've been working in a close partnership with both the city and the sewer district on that exploratory process, evaluating the feasibility of a potential Civic Center campus on those adjoining properties that Snow Isle and the city each own in that Chapel Hill neighborhood. We've been really excited that gathering community input's been such a key part of this process and has really helped it steer it along its way, including through that phase when 3 site alternatives were presented and a 4th preferred alternative was developed, and that development was really based on elements from the original 3 alternatives that were strongly identified as desired both by the community in general and in consultation with the city council. That preferred alternative and the site plan that was developed with that alternative, it's a really exciting prospect for the community. It would be a pretty amazing place building project for the Lake Stevens community. And we have agreed with the city to continue exploring options to make that vision a reality. We've also worked with the city on refining some other decisions. And one of those is that we've come to agreement that developing it through a private-public partnership without an identified funding source is not a fiscally responsible approach. So we will not be pursuing that as a financing option. So where that leaves us is that we're in the position now where our priority is to continue to work on identifying a financially sustainable option to fund and build the project. And we've committed to continuing to do this work in close partnership with the city. One of those potential funding options, I know this question is out there, does remain a bond measure. And that potentially could include a single measure for the entire Civic Center campus. No decisions have been made yet on whether or not or what exactly that might be, but I will say that we are committed to engaging with the community so that we better understand what the community's preferences are regarding any potential bond ballot measures. We're also committed to continuing to build on our strategy of pursuing alternative funding sources and building on the $3.2 million in state grants already secured, thanks in large part to the support of Representative John Lovick, and those grants secured towards building a new library for the Lake Stevens community. So we also look forward to working with the city on ways to further optimize funding towards the community's goals, both for a library and for a Civic Center campus. So to summarize, we're still exploring options for the Civic Center site plan as developed. We'll not be pursuing the private-public partnership as a financing option, and that priority focus now is on securing a viable funding strategy. And we do intend to continue pursuing a variety of alternative funding sources as a part of that strategy. So that is the current status update. And as with Lindsay, happy to take some questions if there are any. Otherwise, on to the next person.
It's me again. So at this Civic Center is not going to include any of the city management, right? Only the sewer district and the library? Is that what you're saying?
No, the Civic Center would have City Hall, sewer district offices, a library, usable outdoor public space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think every time I hear people talk about it, they talk about the sewer district and the library. They never include City Hall. So maybe that needs to be, because it sounds like, City Hall is going to be downtown and sewer district and library are going to be up at Frontier Village. Oh, excuse me, that's Chapel Hill.
Got it.
Okay.
I appreciate the comment, Len. We'll keep our ear out for that and continue to try to get the message out there.
It might be good, Russ, for you to clarify and to assure for any public, anybody in the public, that City Hall is moving there, right?
The program that, we've worked on for the last year plus has included City Hall as an anchor, the library is an anchor, and really the space for the sewer district is just additional office space that we think also helps consolidate some of the civic businesses around the community. So yeah, that is the goal, to have a singular campus up there.
Good. Okay. And then is there anything else, Russ? I would think that you might want to follow up from Chai's comments, or is there anything that you have to say from the city's point of view on that?
Sure. Everything that Chai alluded to is absolutely correct. It's been a great partnership. We've gone through a very public process, looked at some alternatives, and now individually we're looking at our respective decision makers on what does the funding strategy look like for the next stages. I know with the city, we have a marketing consultant that we're going to start, working with. Obviously, the city has a little broader reach than the library does and a bunch of needs. So we have to be thoughtful on when we bring forward ballot measures and what all those contain, so we don't have a bunch of conflicting messages we're trying to send to the community or overlapping priorities. So that's something for us that we're really looking at, is when is the appropriate timing. But with Snowwile over the next year, we'll definitely be starting that process to engage the community, look at timing, look at funding, and really get a solid base of support before we go to any ballot request. Councilmember Dickinson.
Thank you. It sounds to me like I need to do a sit down with Mr. Wright to be sure we're on the same page and that I'm doing as I should do and not going off on my own tangent, which I apparently do too often. But really, I really want to help with this. I told the mayor that I'm happy to be the liaison between both of these actions to try and bring this together and to support this entire Civic Center. And I will speak with you. I'll probably call you on the phone maybe tomorrow if that works for you, Mr. Wright, or whenever, so that we can clarify what I'm thinking. I picture this the way the library was paid for back in my hometown and what they did. And that's kind of the back of my mind. They have a beautiful library there. It totally echoes the community, and the design that Stowe developers came up with is wonderful to me. I just think it's perfect because they held on to, and if you haven't seen it, they really held on to the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. And there was so much energy and so much interaction with the people of the community. I just think there's great potential here to make this happen. But I do think I'm listening and thinking maybe I need to sit down with Russ Wright and make sure I'm going the right direction. I'm still the new kid on the block, don't you know? So I want to be sure not to get in the way of anything that helps all of this happen. And I did talk to the mayor, like I said, and he knows I'm right there for everybody. We need this. Lake Stevens needs this.
Thank you, Mary. One question, Chai, for follow-up. Is there an expiration date on the state funding of any kind?
The first chunk of state funding was used for this exploratory process. The next two pieces of state funding are in the 2021 to 23 state biennial. And so that's the intent, is for it to be used on that timeline.
Thank you.
Okay, if I ask a question?
Please do.
I was just going to say, because the city hall and the library are kind of in the same basket, right? We're trying to do this together. And so how the reasons for city hall moving are tied up with the reasons for the library moving. And I think as a community member, it's maybe not clear to people why City Hall would be moving from where it is and what would be replacing it at North Cove Park once it leaves. I remember from the presentations, several years ago, there was a master plan for that park, and that's obviously changed over time. So I think it's kind of like there's dominoes here. There needs to be some communication to the public about what is the next phase of development plan for the park that is the creation for the reason that the city hall needs to move, and why does it need to go someplace else. The library, obviously, the community is, I think, really happy with the new building, even though the public area is about the same size as the previous library. Everything's new, but I think the community will understand, of course, the reason for why we need a bigger library with more resources available to the community. But because we're all connected now, it's like, what is the further next stage of development for North Cove? And why does the city hall need to move? Because I think that's going to be a bigger question for the community as to why does the city need another building? Because it looks really nice and new, right? So since we're all in this together, I guess we need to figure out a way to communicate that.
No, I appreciate that comment, and that is part of our strategy. And the easy answer that you can share: why does the city need a different building? The size of this building is just entirely inadequate. It was always meant to be a stopgap measure. There's not a vacant desk space in this building, and it's a growing community and growing needs. So it's very much the same issue as the library, just it isn't enough space. And there are plans for the completion of North Cove Park that do see City Hall not in the middle of that space anymore.
I have a question. First, a comment. I think the temporary library is great. I went and checked it out. I was very impressed. with what the limited amount of time that you guys had. The shelving wasn't in yet, the full shelving, so it didn't seem like there were a lot of options, but very impressed. Clean, new, great. I'd never been that far over in Lake Stevens on that road, so it was kind of nice to see that. But as far as the new library and the plan, the whole project, are we talking like a year to even get a bond together, bond measure, and then construction, design, everything 4 or 5 years down the road? I mean, we're talking long term, correct? Or I don't know who my question's to. Maybe the city or
No, sorry, Melissa. I was just having a hard
Okay.
time with my mute button there was why I was hesitating. I mean, Russ may want to follow up as well. I think, there remains some uncertainty around that, just to be completely honest about it. And it can depend on a number of factors. I think that to just from our point of view at the library district, as a rough rule of thumb, our preference would be a minimum of a year buildup before a measure would appear on the ballot. So if that becomes a needed element for construction of either the library or the entire civic center, yes, it would be about a year. And then once a measure is passed and the funding is secured, again, the construction timelines can really vary. So I'm hesitant to say anything I might be quoted on. But again, a rough rule of thumb, you're not far off 18 months to 2 years. So, yes, a 2 to 3 year timeline would be a nice optimistic one. As I mentioned, and when I was kind of summarizing our status currently, we are also pursuing, whether there's other viable options or not. But there's nothing that is solidified at this point that would shorten that timeline significantly.
Yeah, I would totally agree with Chai's comments that a 3-year turnaround is probably realistic, just after communication, going through the bond, then we would go into design and then construction. So yeah, 2 to 3 year timeline is very realistic.
okay, thank you.
What we found in the past is it's critical to find your timeline around the election process. Don't do it the year after the presidential election. We ran into all kinds of problems with that in the past. So that has some bearing on how long it's going to take also.
Agreed, Lynn. Those are the factors to account for too.
Okay, Russ, I don't know if you have anything else to add from the city. Any further updates?
I just want to give a pitch for our farmers market. We will be having a harvest market this weekend, so come down in the afternoon. Details are on the city's website, and that continues to be a good partnership with us. So
Thank you. Looks like fun, yeah.
Another thing that'll be happening during the Harvest Fest is the temporary museum over there at the old police station is going to be open for tours. So if they're going to have an open house, so if you'd like to see some of the artifacts that are in there, I'm sure they'd love to see you. So I hope we have good weather. That's all I can say. I hope we have good weather.
Are they at the maintenance facility, the old maintenance facility, Mary?
It's on South Lake Stevens, behind the Chicken Drive-In.
Yeah. Sorry, you just said the old police station, so I just wanted to make sure we were talking about the maintenance. Yeah.
the storage, the evidence storage area with the.
Oh, got it.
department.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
Right at 123rd and East Lake Shore.
Thank you. I know where it is, but I don't know the address. What can I say?
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Melissa from the Friends. Melissa Friend from the Friends.
I'm ready. We've had a fairly productive past 3 months. We will start the Book Nook up on Sunday. So this weekend we have a crew coming in about 9 o'clock. I'm going to clear out the storage unit and we're going to set up some books to sell to the public, which It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad we're finally getting that out. People seem to be excited about it. We will have a smaller space, so we're going to have a smaller variety. We're not going to have all this, we're not going to have an entire section of nonfiction broken down into different sections. We're going to really focus on the kids, teens, mystery, general fiction, maybe some sci-fi, and then we'll have a miscellaneous shelf for, some of the nonfiction that comes in. But it'll be a smaller variety for people, but we tried to pick the categories that people really seem to buy. So we make the best use of the space we have. We have two, I think it's 5-foot shelves and one 3-foot, 4-foot shelf. I don't know. They're 2 tall shelves, 1 short shelf. We'll have our layout done Sunday. And I think we're going to continue selling the book bags, and I'm going to put some postcards in a frame and, put postcards available, and people can buy Lake Stevens postcards, the same ones we used to have in the old library. I think that's it pretty much for the auxiliary things. We will be selling book baskets again. Barb has asked that we not do the virtual craft fair with the book baskets this year because it is a lot of work. And I can understand that. And she works so hard for us. She deserves a year off if we don't have Dickens Fair. But we will also have Book Nook baskets in the Book Nook available. So something that we came up with to make up for not doing Dickens Fair or the virtual craft fair, Dana Bittinger is one of our newer members. She came up with an advent calendar, a book advent calendar. And I think I may have mentioned it to you guys at the last meeting briefly. That went live on Monday. And as of now, I just checked, we have 68 orders, and that totals $1,910. And I'm blown away. I didn't expect it to be that big this fast. So we are definitely in need of kids' books 0 to 10. If you or anybody needs to get rid of some books, please contact me, or you can contact Dana. But we do need more books because as of now, our book totals are 1,700 books that we have to distribute, which is great. I'm really happy about that. We're doing the advent calendars through a website called, what was it called? Stripe. So Dana set us up with Stripe, and that calculates all our sales and puts them in a spreadsheet. It's really amazing. Like, she made a Google form, and whatever people put on that Google form goes straight into our spreadsheet. I don't know how she does it. I'm so glad to have her. If you want to check out the Google order form, I'm going to give you an address if anyone wants to write this down. I can't type in a chat here from what I see. It's bit.ly/FOL books. So if you go to that address, it'll take you to the Google form, and you can feel free to share that with anyone you think might want to buy 25 books to open leading up to Christmas. Dana also set us up with a Venmo account, and we will have a QR code at the library so that if people want to buy baskets or books and don't have cash, they can scan that QR code, take the code over to the front desk if they're buying a basket, and show that they paid on their phone, and then they can take the basket. And our Venmo handle is at Friends of the Lake Stevens Library. So these online payments we've been wanting to do for a really, really long time. And all of this has happened within the past 3 weeks. She's gotten all this together for us. So I'm pretty amazed. We decided, we tried doing a Mod Pizza fundraiser for not 3 months in a row, but within, we did 3 within a 6-month period last year, and it didn't go very well. So we're going to start doing a Mod fundraiser in December and May, just twice a year. I think it'll be more worth our time. So we'll be doing that. James, who's on this meeting watching, he's our new member, the only new member we've had in a long time. So I'm happy to have him. Welcome, James. And then money-wise, really nothing has happened. We haven't paid for anything, but we did get a $100 donation from Fidelity Charitable. I think it was out of Ohio or something. I don't know why we got it, but they were you know, happy with the fact that we work with the library, and they said, here's $100. So yeah, I think that's about all I have for you. Let me just double check here. Oh, one more thing. We are going to start using, Lynn, we looked into Square. We're going to start using our Square account as kind of like a marketplace, because we can put our baskets on there and sell our baskets through there. So when we do start doing baskets in the library, they'll be in the library, posted to the Facebook page, and then we'll also have them posted on our Square marketplace. But that's something we're really in the early stages of right now, and it won't be up probably until January.
Question.
Yes, Lynn.
Can we contact other libraries' friends and see if they have kids' books that they are willing to give us?
Yes, please. That sounds
Oh,
great.
you get the idea. You have to do it, right? Okay. All right.
I
I'll
can
try.
see if I can find
Is it
something.
possible to, could you send something out, Lindsay, to the other libraries? And
I can see what I can. You know, we're not accepting donation at any of
Yeah,
the libraries
right.
right now, but I'll see what I can do and I'll get back to you both.
I'll pick them up. I'll pick them up.
Oh, okay. Lynn will pick
Poppy
them
and I like to go for drives.
My next question was going to be, we can't put those on a truck and get them to the library, but Lynn, if you would pick them up, that would be awesome.
Melissa, you might reach out to the school libraries, because I know some of us have been inundated because the public library is not taking donations.
Yeah.
They're ending up at the school libraries, and even you're in Lake Stevens, if you just let them know it was for a community, you know, to support the Lake Stevens library, they might be willing to then give you some of their donations. So if you just emailed the librarians, they might be willing to do that.
Yeah, I talked to Dana about that last night.
Okay.
Or was it the night before? I don't know. But yeah, I told her we should look into that. I've also been contacted by the high school again for a donation. I haven't heard back from him. I told him we're pretty much taking anything except for nonfiction, because I do not want to get boxes and boxes of nonfiction. So I'm still waiting to hear back from Kit about that. But you know, aside from book, you know, kids book donations, that's what we really need right now. And if you guys have some, you know, fiction, teen, we probably don't have too much teen, but fiction, mystery, or sci-fi, those would be great to have. And you'd want to contact myself, and we really can't take them at the library. So I'm giving people my address that want to donate books. They can bring them here, and I'll either put them in the storage unit or put them in our space in the library. I think that's about it.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Shaylin.
And just have to say, Melissa, you're impressing me all the more, and the friends. I mean, that's just amazing, especially when I heard the stuff about the Advent thing and how well it's been doing. And, you know, anyway, I'm just totally impressed. So congratulations.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I was, well, I mean, think about Aquafest. We'd make like $2,500 in a good year. We're already up to 2,000, and all we're doing is sitting here letting people make orders, and we just have to divvy out books. This is great.
Yeah.
So much easier than moving tables and boxes of books. Oh my gosh.
Oh, but the memories, Melissa.
Yes, the memories of the hot attic. Oh,
the attic memories. Oh boy. Okay. Board comments. Any as we move on, any other board comments? I do have some to share from Helen, who's not here, so I'll go ahead and share those. She wanted to make sure that the library staff knew how excellent the new location was, that her family has been enjoying it tremendously. So, and good work there. And I think everything else was answered in your update, Lindsay, except for who will be the interim managing librarian at Lake Stevens.
So we hopefully won't have much of an interim. So
Okay.
I'm supporting them during that time. Hopefully we can have somebody here before the end of the year.
Okay. All right. Terrific. Okay. And then anybody else that had any board comments from any other members? Okay. Anything else for the good of the order?
For our next meeting in January, do we anticipate being able to meet in person, or what's the procedure with that. I remember something in an email about we were not able to meet in person as long as the city council is not meeting in person, something like that. I may be.
No, that's correct.
Kelly.
We're waiting for the city to make that change. So it's, Kelly will let us know before the next meeting. There's Kelly. Maybe she can let us know.
Yeah, so certainly that would be the hope, as long as everything stays the way it's been going. The council's only had one hybrid meeting, right, a couple of weeks ago, and that was an in-person and a Zoom meeting at the same time, because the governor still has a requirement that we have to have a Zoom meeting as well as an in-person. I mean, you have to have a way for somebody to participate virtually, as well as having a in-person meeting. So I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see. It went well at the council level. We do have a few more quirks to work out. So given we've got a few months, let's try to head towards that with fingers crossed. But we'll talk about it as it gets a little closer.
And I'm not sure where we would meet at this point. The city would have to provide a space of some sort, right, Kelly?
Yeah, so possibly the Sawyer's room, which is where
Okay.
the council chambers is at. Other meetings are happening in there, and it's a great space. And we're again working out a little bit of the quirks with the AV in that room. But that would, to me, be the logical space. I don't know, Russ can jump in if he thinks something different.
No, that would be the appropriate space for any board meeting.
Okay, terrific. Thank you. We'll wait and hear for that from Abe, our newly elected chairperson. So thank you, Abe. Look for an email from Abe.
Okay, yeah, I will let you know as soon as I know anything, but still acting like a secretary. On our agenda, we did have facilities mentioned there. I suppose we can just pretty much, for the public or anyone who wants to know, there's no facilities report because we don't have that as a standing committee. There's no need at this point in time, I would think, unless Lindsay, you think there's some reason why we
No, I think we're in a sweet spot now.
Oh, wonderful. That's good to hear. In fact, you did make a good report to me when I visited the new temporary library, and you said that the city was doing very good work in supporting you. So I would think a facilities committee would be totally unnecessary at this time. So anyway, good to hear. Back to you, Shaylin.
Lynn?
Shaylin, thank you for all you've done. This is our last meeting with you, right? And will you still be on the board, or will you?
I still will be on the board. My term is not up yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna
thank
say.
you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, you've been
No
awesome.
way we're gonna let her
Great
just
job.
step down.
Great job, Salem. Yay.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so we will call the meeting at 5:39. And thank you everyone for being here. Thank you, James, for attending, but we're not seeing you, but we do thank you for being here and look forward to seeing everybody in January. Stay safe for the holidays, everybody.
Have a good night, guys.